How's it going, everyone? This is the Go Along podcast at Hamburg Brewing Company in Western New York. I'm Tyler Dunn here with Jim Monis, and we're joined right out of the chute, Jim, by our friend, your friend, number one in your program, Doug Whaley. Doug, how's everything going down there in Pittsburgh?
Salud, fellas. It's been a while. Everything's going
Cheers.
great. hmm
What do you got tonight, Doug? Is that a local?
Yeah, I got a little hazy IPA. Subtle Dance Moves is what they call it, from Acclamation Brewery here in Pittsburgh, PA. Nice place that always has great food trucks because they don't serve. So you go get your food truck, get your beer, sit outside when it's warm, when the weather's breaking, have a nice little evening.
So you could bring some of those up to us to Hamburg Brewing, and we'll take back some Hoptimonium and some of the other great beers here at Hamburg, and we're in business.
It sounds like a plan. When the weather definitely breaks up there, I'm coming for sure.
Just saying, the next couple of weeks, we got like 70 degrees here. So, you say the
Oh,
word,
okay.
Doug, and we'll throw a Go Along podcast party for you and get these Western New Yorkers to come out.
No doubt. Let's I'll talk to you guys because next weekend I'm going to West Palm playing in the PGA. A couple guys, friends of mine, so playing there for a couple days. But Memorial Day, I might be able to make a drive up to Buffalo.
I like it. I like it.
I like that you're going to West Palm though. A little golf, like your golf game must be improving.
It is improving. The index is coming down. I said, I ain't got nothing else to do.
Well, are you making any money on golf?
I'm making some money. Absolutely.
Course?
Played yesterday. Yep. Yeah, last 2 days. Tuesday paid for my golf. So with the money I made yesterday, paid for all my drinks and my food. So I'm winning some money. It's all that counts.
Have you studied Pimlico yet?
I haven't. I'm going to do that tonight.
All right.
What
I'm
you
not
got?
Gonna say anything else about it. No, I'm with you. I'm only asking you because of the Derby, and I'm not going to tell people what happened. But Doug knows his horses. He had a good Derby weekend.
You got to know which horses are roided
Doug
up.
Had
apparently.
a good Derby weekend.
Not
Derby. I'm sorry. No. Masters.
But I did get the Derby.
Weekend.
I did have the Derby, but I had him with an exacta with someone else that didn't come in. So
you're still smiling from the Masters. That was my fault.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so what are we getting into tonight?
Hoptimonium. We got some. You know what I did, Doug? A cool golf bet I did this week was Ryan Palmer. Like you could do Ryan Palmer versus like Brooks Koepka, and the odds were, it was almost like dead even. Palmer was like plus 105 for the, who does he beat Koepka in the tourney? So I was like, you know what? Here's why I read something funny. They said Koepka, when he comes off some rest the week before a major, which is next week in Kiowa down in Charleston, he basically plays like these tournaments. He's good with not even making the cut. Some of these guys just like to get out there, get some swings in.
Yes.
So I read
work
this
on their
article,
game.
They hit like these guys that are big timers like Koepka coming. So I was like, you know what? And Palmer, every tournament for Palmer is big. So
he's like, grinding.
So I took, and I saw he's off to it. He has a nice little lead on him. So
nice. Yeah, I got some friends that have been doing those golf bets, and guys never even played golf before, but it's been studying. He's been racking it up. I think he's up 14 G's just off golf bets in the season already. Oh yeah.
You guys are making this tempting, man. I don't think I can get into it. I can't.
Don't do it.
I can't do it.
Doug, right? Don't ever gamble.
Don't do it. Don't start.
Only if you started a long time ago and can't break the habit.
I won't. I'm going to stay strong.
Yep.
Fellas, I don't know if you know this, but it's like day 782 of Rodgers Watch.
What's worse, mock drafts or the Aaron Rodgers?
NFL schedule release breakdowns.
NFL schedule release breakdowns.
Those are horse shit.
I mean, it's one of those things where, you know the opponents, so it's that dramatic that you got to know when you're playing them and what time. I mean, I don't know. I struggle with that, but I'd say NFL schedule release 1, mock drafts 2, and then Aaron Rodgers 3. I'm
What
waiting
about
for Aaron
draft
Rodgers
grades?
to
So
say
draft
something.
grades are in there too.
Oh, draft grades gotta be up there. That's a good
Draft
one.
grades got yeah. The mock draft, I mean, the mock draft and the draft coverage is just so long that it's just and how many times can you go over the same thing? Kyle Pitts to Atlanta, Kyle Pitts to, I mean, it's all right. What are we doing here? I've actually, when I was in it, and even now, I feel bad for the people that have to every day come up with stuff. Like McShay having 8 mock drafts. I mean, come on, what are you doing?
17.0.
Yeah,
And everybody had Mac Jones number 3 to San Francisco. Like, it just goes to show how made up all this is.
and none of them that had that said, you know what, I was completely wrong. Sorry about that. I was wrong. No one's bringing up how wrong they were. Oh, then it's, oh, how great a job they did was concealing who they really wanted. No, you guys were just flat out guessing and wrong and taking low-hanging fruit.
Doug, I wanted to ask you, I'm glad you brought that up too, because, all right, so it comes out like moments after that pick that the 49ers took Trey Lance. I think it might have been Schefter had a tweet like, this is how great the 49ers covered it up. Not like nobody outside of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch even knew they were taking this player. And everybody, not everybody, a lot of people were praising that. My reaction is like, wow, that's a great way to build morale within the building. Like, don't tell anybody what you're doing. Like, as a GM and as an assistant, like, I would think that's not good for an organization to, like, for everybody to be kept in the dark through the whole entire process.
Yeah, well, nowadays, I think what you do is you keep them in the dark of what you're going to do that last moment, but you give them a general idea. But you got to be careful because there's so many loose lips these days, and a lot of it's unintended consequences. Someone may text their wife, and their wife texts another person's wife that's they're known from the league. They tells the husband, and the husband tells somebody, and then it just goes like that. So I think today with the mass hysteria of media and accessibility to everything, you do have to rein it in a lot. So it's a different time and different things that you have to consider when you're talking about something, especially at number 3, and you gave so much up for it. I personally liked it because it just threw everybody that was in the know, proved them wrong and threw them for a loop, and hopefully shine light on these people are guessing. But they make a lot of money and have a lot of mouthpiece to guess.
They do. Yeah, they make a lot of money. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I hadn't thought of it like that. I just don't take ourselves in the media too seriously. Like, I mean, you could almost just throw some fake shit out there too and send everybody running that direction. But
yeah, and I don't think you said media. You shouldn't take yourself seriously, but NFL personnel and coaches, they take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, and I honestly, I don't think the 49ers knew who they wanted.
You don't think they really knew
I
until?
I don't. I think they probably to make that trade. Here's why I'm saying that. Are you telling me that the new head coach for the Jets, who just left San Fran, was he really telling them exactly that they were taking the BYU quarterback? You know what I mean?
No.
Now I see. That's why I agree, Doug. I don't think he would have told San Fran, "Hey guys, we're taking Wilson. So if you want to come up to 3, I don't think so." And how do you make that move to 3 if you don't know who's going to? You know what I'm saying? So, because what if the Jets took Trey Lance? And that's like, I guess what I'm saying is I think they must have been comfortable with
3. Three people. And that's what Philly did.
That's how I.
Yeah, that's what Philly did when they moved up to get Wentz. They were like, all right, we like Wentz and Goff. So if they take Goff, we'll take Wentz. If they take Wentz, we'll take Goff. So they had 3 quarterbacks that they liked, and they removed all doubt. I think it's a great move. And then it gives you time to really dive in and study all of them. Well, I mean, obviously Lawrence was going 1, so actually you had 2 that
you really just need to know who the Jets were taking.
Yeah, exactly.
Or comfortable with 2 guys.
2 guys.
All right, guys, let's talk some Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, Doug. We need to hear from you. How do you handle this?
It's his. I mean, for those who don't know, Doug Whaley was up for this Green Bay Packers general manager job. Was that 3 years ago? I want to say, Doug.
It's like 17.
When 17. Oh, no, 17 or 18, one of those, whenever Brian got it. So must have been, yeah, I can't
18.
remember.
It might have been 18.
I think it was 18. Yep.
Yeah, those 18. Yeah, those things were running. Yeah, it was 18.
So, I mean,
So-
you interviewed for this job. You could be in this position right now, Doug, like with an MVP quarterback who has made it abundantly clear he does not want to play football for you, even though they reportedly offered him more money than any quarterback in the league, even though they've surrounded him with arguably the best roster in the NFL, even though they've given him carte blanche at the line of scrimmage to do whatever the hell he wants, which is what Aaron Rodgers wanted. He's got the freedom to do what he wants. So we've said it on this podcast several times. Like we don't understand why Aaron Rodgers is this upset. Clearly, he wants personnel control. Clearly, he wants to be a co-GM at this point. So if you're the GM, Doug, like how do you handle this?
Well, first of all, I think we obviously don't know until he speaks what has really gone on behind closed doors. So you really hate to guess, but what I'm saying,
he's anonymously sending messages, so we can speculate.
But what I'm saying, if you're in that seat, first of all, Brian Gutekunst has been in that organization for a long time, so he's been around Aaron. He should have known if he was going to make this pick to either give him the heads up, give his representatives a heads up, and talk to him to say, this is what we're going to do. This is our plan. We even did it with Tyrod Taylor when we weren't going to play him that last game. I sat him down face to face and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We know what you can do. You've proven it. We need to find out what's behind you because we have to make some decisions. So you say, Aaron, you even do it before the draft day. This is what we're considering because like you, when your job is done or if you get hurt, then my job's on the line to say, I have to keep this team competitive. If you go out there first game and blow out your knee, and if I have a subpar number 2 with no future, people are going to be like, that GM's a bum. He didn't have anybody behind him. We have this team and he didn't have a competent backup. So I have to be prepared for not only when you leave, but tomorrow if you walk off the sidewalk and blow out your knee or your ankle. So that's how you propose it to him and his agent. So they didn't do it. So you're in a different. All right. The next step is offer him money. Didn't take that. So my next step is hopefully you like Jeopardy, because what you're going to have to do is you're not going to play. We're going to hold your rights. You're going to have to give close to 23 million back of the signing bonus. And then you're going to forfeit, I think, 19 of P5, paragraph 5, and 6 point something. So you're talking about close to $40 million you're giving up. You may have a lot in the bank, but swallow your pride. I think a lot of people swallow their pride for 40-some million dollars. And the last point I'll say is if you cave and bend, you set that precedent. And then guess what's going to happen? Next year, Devontae Adams is going to be like, hey, I don't want to play. Guess what? You drafted a receiver last year. I'm out. So you got to be careful about the precedents you set. So, I mean, there's culpability on both sides, but they are where they are right now. And if I was in that position as the GM, I'd be like, he's on our roster. He's signed. That's it. If he wants to retire, great. I'll watch him on Jeopardy. I'll TiVo it. But other than that, he's got to come in and play. And then it accelerates the plan you had in the first place, and you have Jordan Love play. Now then the pressure gets on you because Jordan Love better be that player you expected him to be. But that's why you made the move, because at some point you needed to have a succession plan. It would just accelerate it because of Aaron, not because of Father Time.
But this is an all-time grudge holder. This is somebody who cuts people out of his life completely. We've seen it over and over again. I don't think he's bluffing, Doug. I don't really think this is a game to Aaron to get more money, to get anything. So as a general manager, being practical with it, isn't there part of you that thinks, well, geez, all right, I'll take my 2 firsts, my 2 seconds, 3 starters. I'll just get whatever. Wouldn't you rather get a bounty of assets rather than just letting this guy sit and wait and retire? Or from a public relations standpoint, maybe that is better, I guess, if he just doesn't retire. I don't know, but like I feel like if I'm running a team, which I'm not for a reason, like I would want to get all these assets for an MVP.
I would definitely listen, but he goes somewhere and wins 2 Super Bowls, and Jordan Love is a bum. I would have to wait till probably someone really gets hurt. I get an offer that you can't refuse. I'd probably wait till close to the trade deadline. Someone doesn't give me something commiserate to where I think would be acceptable if he goes and wins 2 Super Bowls somewhere. I would personally right now, I would sit on for a year and then next year trade him just to prove that point. Because again, you set that precedent. And Devontae Adams has already started to chirp. Depends on what happens to him. I'm going to have to start thinking. Yeah. And then every person that you have, well, you did it for Aaron. I can pull those strings. I'm going to get traded. I'm going to do that. And then so that's where I really have an issue that you got to be very careful because it's a slippery slope.
The culture of your team, though, like this for both you guys, like if you let this thing linger even into training camp, like forget the regular season, if you let this linger into training camp, I mean, I was there in the summer of 2008 as an intern in Green Bay. I was writing for the Sean O leader in the Packer Report. I was in college. Like it was such a baptism by fire of how to cover pro football, but like it was nuts. I mean, everybody in the media was there. I can still remember around Aaron Rodgers' locker, you couldn't even like get anywhere in the vicinity of him. I mean, he's getting booed by fans at practice. Brett Favre's flying in on the plane. It was just insane. However you slice it. Now multiply that by 100. If they let this Aaron Rodgers thing link, I don't know if you want that hanging over the head of your organization, right? Doesn't it pay to be decisive as a team too and say like, you don't want to be here, Aaron. Guess what? We don't want you. We're not going to put up with this. See ya, and move on.
Go ahead, Jim.
I was just gonna say, Andy Reid always said he'd eliminate all distractions. That was his biggest thing. Like, can't have distractions in training camp, during the season. I kind of with Tyler on this, where I think Green Bay needs to make a move. I mean, whatever the move is, but the team needs to know you don't want those guys, even Jordan Love. You don't want him going out there every day not knowing, oh, he might come back. You guys are just going to pull me. Like, Jordan, like, he's going to take ownership of that team. Like, we know how quarterbacks work. He's got to feel that I'm the guy. If he's sitting there always thinking, oh, shit, anytime, any day, they're going to bring Rodgers back. That's hard. I think that there should be some type of decision made as far as this is how we're going this year, and let's go.
Well, that's a very great point. And if you're going to go that way, then I would put the ball in his court, Aaron Rodgers. If you don't come by this time in training camp,
right,
we're going to put you on reserve retired for the whole year.
Yep.
And that's it. And then you get with your PR director, your director of communications, whatever they call them these days, and say, we are not, tell any media that comes in here, they can talk about it on Get Up and First Take and all of that stuff, but there will be no questions about Aaron Rodgers to any of our players. You can set those rules and those standards in the media when they come in. And if you ask a question, then guess what? You're going to be barred for whatever. You can set it up where you can eliminate those. But I agree with you. You got to limit those distractions. The thing that really I struggle with is Aaron Rodgers is one of the best to ever do it. I struggle with a guy that's one of the best that ever does it, that is so sensitive that they drafted someone behind it. Most people would be like, who's this dude? Oh, whatever. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to still go out there and ball. Because if you don't want me, I'm going to play so well. I'm going somewhere else, and you're going to miss me, and this guy's not going to touch me, and I'm going to win Super Bowls. So I'm just going to rub in your face. That's where I struggle with Aaron. Where is that alpha male competitive, I'm going to beat you no matter what? And he had that chip on his shoulder. This should even make that chip bigger, which I think it did last year. He played well. He played better than he did the year before. But to be so sensitive, I struggle with that. And do you really want that guy leading your team? When he comes back, what are the teammates going to say? Oh, you're good with us now? but you didn't want to lead us because they got a backup that if you go down could help us still gain and get what we want to do is be competitive. That's another angle that you guys got to think about. If you're his teammate, what are you thinking? Yeah, everybody's going to say, yeah, get yours, whatever. This isn't a contract negotiation. This is you getting upset, having a high school fight between two girls. It's a cat fight. When you look at it, oh, you hurt my feelings. I struggle with that and Aaron Rodgers. Now, don't get me wrong. I can separate his skill level and his personality, but I struggle with that personality saying when he comes back to that team, Monis, what would you do if Monis, when he come back?
We talked about this kind of last week, and I said the GM's job is to sustain success for the owner, correct? And I know
Correct.
Green Bay's ownership's a little tricky, but regardless, that's the GM's job. Green Bay, if anybody, has shown people the roadmap for that with what they did with Aaron.
If anybody should understand, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Anybody should understand. It's got to be Aaron. Like, it's not like Aaron Rodgers is 30.
Right.
He wasn't coming off his best year. He is older, and they had a quarterback that they value. How, like, to your point, Doug, how does that, like, how would he even care? Like, oh, you took this guy from Utah State? I don't care.
Where is that?
That means, and if I was Gutekunst, I'd be like, Aaron, look, it's your job for the next 5. And I would have told him before the pick. I agree with that, Doug.
Yes.
I think communication in life is key, as we know, as we said.
Yeah, but you know what, guys? Like,
you can tell him, like, hey, man, we're taking this guy.
Well, he might sabotage the draft pick.
He wouldn't.
He might be so sensitive that, but I think we're sitting here talking about this, even if they tell him, aren't we? Even if they tell him that we're drafting a quarterback, we're sitting here talking about this all. Do you think? I don't know if the communication really.
That might be him, where no matter what you did, he was going to feel disrespected.
But to your point, I mean, you guys are absolutely right. I mean, Aaron Rodgers basically has attacked the situation with the ferocity that he attacked 3rd and goal against Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game. When he has an opportunity to, nobody wants to talk about this play, right? We want to talk about Matt LaFleur kicking that field. You could have ran in for a touchdown, or at least got to the 1 yard line.
At least sell out.
And you throw across your body to Devontae Adams. It was a soft play in a huge moment, and that's how he's attacking this. You put it perfectly, Doug. What are you afraid of? And that's where he is sensitive to the point of wanting to prove a point. He, as one player for the Packers told me, he wants to expose the Packers for this draft pick. He's that temperamental, that sensitive, that upset about this draft pick that he's going to that extreme right now anyways, that I'm going to force you to play this guy who isn't ready. It's like you said, I mean, I wonder what some teammates think. I wonder what management thinks. I know what fans think. It's 80-20 pro team in this situation.
Which is crazy.
They see this for what it is. A quarterback, an MVP who's acting afraid and doesn't want to compete.
Because now, if it would have been any other team, but Green Bay are knowledgeable fans, and they are Green Bay Packer fans. They're not Aaron Rodgers fans. If he's in another city, it's probably flipped. You know what I mean? So the fans are doing it right because they're, like I said, they're knowledgeable.
So Doug, I brought up, so what if Aaron Rodgers just, he's getting older. He has options in life, obviously. What if he did just say, hey, I think I'm retiring next year. Did he give Brian Gutekunst a 2-year notice? No. Is he gonna, if Brian Gutekunst loses his job, is he gonna reach out to help him financially? No. So how can you get mad at Brian Gutekunst for making what I think, if Jordan, like you said it, if Jordan Love isn't the guy, then that's on them. But how could you get mad for having conviction and trying to sustain success? I thought it was a great move by Green Bay.
Doing his job. He gets paid to do his job. And again, and think about it. I just think about the locker room. That would be interesting. And I know you got a lot of connections there. What does the locker room feel from that 3rd down play in the NFC Championship to what he's pulling now? Me personally, I'd be like, that dude's all about himself. He's not about me and the team and winning. He's about how everything affects him. So I would struggle with him as a leader. and the face of our organization as a teammate.
No, I mean, I'd love to get some of those players in that honest moment, and it's a play in a moment that nobody's really talking about right now. It's woe is Aaron Rodgers. The Packers aren't doing enough for him. There's somebody in the local media. I was told this. I didn't hear it myself. Literally said that Brian Gutekunst should publicly apologize to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, are you shitting me? That's where we're at right now with this. I mean, what a joke. Publicly, he's got a job to do. He wants Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback. He's under contract for 3 more years. They want him to be the quarterback. It's not like Brett Favre, where they're telling Brett Favre, stay away, and we'll pay you to stay away. Mark Murphy was trying to pay him off. Stay in retirement. Like, if Favre wanted, this is Aaron Rodgers under contract for 3 more years with an incredibly talented roster, with the freedom he desired, and they want him to be the quarterback, and he doesn't want to be there. So you know what? It's not unexpected. No. This is a pattern of behavior. And to your point, Doug, earlier, and I was tempted to disagree with you on, like, it doesn't really matter what they say to him before the draft. And I think we're sitting here anyways. But if anybody should know how delicately and fragile Aaron Rodgers is mentally wired with this kind of stuff, it's Brian Gutekunst, it's Matt LaFleur, it's the Packers, it's Mark.
Yes.
They should have known all this, so that they're not blameless.
I mean, I think about even what we did when EJ was going through his stuff, and remember we brought his family in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With Coach Marone, and we sat in there and said, "Look, we're going to put you on the shelf we got to get you healthy. Things are a little shaky right now," and I just feel like that position. Not that EJ was fragile. It wasn't EJ. It was just about, hey, let's communicate with you. We're not trying to get rid of you. We're just trying to say, look, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it.
So it shows to everybody involved, you may not agree with what we're doing, but at least you know the plan and you're not guessing. When you sit there and have people, especially a quarterback, sitting there thinking, oh no, what's going on? Then they start going these rabbit holes, and then you add the sensitivity of Aaron Rodgers. It's just a dark hole that he obviously can't get out of.
What happened with EJ there, if you can get into it?
It was, Doug, was that when was he coming back healthy and we kept Orton as the starter?
Yeah, because Orton was playing well. He came out with that knee. Remember, I think it was the Cleveland game.
Yeah.
And he and people forget he was actually, and I'm not saying he was actually playing well, and I'm not saying
that was his rookie year though. That was before Orton then.
No, this was
because the knee injury, I believe that wasn't that his rookie season
Cleveland
with the knee?
No, that we were going into Cleveland. Didn't he get hurt in Cleveland at the Cleveland game?
Yes, definitely the Cleveland game. Is that when we brought Orton in? No.
That was I think like Jeff Toole and
that was
so
yeah. But I feel like the EJ meeting was
Thad Lewis.
Yeah, Thad Lewis.
Yeah, and if Thad doesn't break a rib in New Orleans,
he actually was.
And then how about if Toole doesn't throw that interception at the goal line against Kansas City? You know what I mean? There's always these one plays where like that doesn't happen. We're close to making the playoffs that year.
If Bryce Brown didn't fumble against Kansas City.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway.
To go back on that, that's where I'm losing. I can't remember why we had EJ, but you do remember we had his family.
Yeah, I do remember. I can't remember what happened.
But I feel like
during the timeline.
I feel like it had something.
But there was a conversation kind of had.
We're just letting them know the plan.
Yeah, if you let them know the plan, again, they can disagree. But at least they can't say I was blindsided.
And they felt, there you go.
Yeah.
It's such a balance because, I mean, one reason I think the Packers front office is so successful, from Ron Wolf to Ted Thompson to Brian Gutekunst, is that they are a little callous. Like, that they do strip emotion from the equation. Like, they aren't afraid to draft. Let's start from square one. Ron Wolf isn't afraid to trade the 19th overall pick for a quarterback who had 4 pass attempts, 2 interceptions when he has Don Mikowski.
And was a drunk.
Right. He had all these
Pill
issues.
Popper.
Pill popper.
And Ted Thompson isn't afraid to draft Aaron Rodgers when he has Brett Favre off of a 4,000-yard, 30-touchdown season. So they're not afraid to do these things, but it sounds like you guys are saying you do still need to have emotion enter the equation to an extent.
You know,
I guess especially when you're dealing with somebody like Aaron Rodgers who's this sensitive.
I would say this, Doug. I think with EJ, I think we were doing that. He so young, fragile. Let's just include him. I think where if you're in Green Bay spot with Aaron at this point, I just feel like that's more out of, hey man, you've earned it. You're one of the greatest to ever play. This is the deal. We're taking this guy, but we want you here for the next however long you can play until you tell us. We just want him ready when you're ready to be done. And
no doubt.
Maybe, but it might not have mattered with Aaron. That's what we're kind of finding out. But you know, I just feel like at that position, when
Here's
you
the
invest,
thing, though, Jim. Like they wanted Justin Jefferson with that pick,
and not Jordan.
I mean, I heard it, and shame
well,
on
how
me.
does that go down?
I couldn't confirm it. So, I had heard that the Packers, when Gutekunst moved up in that draft, they wanted to draft Justin Jefferson at receiver, and the Vikings took him, so they took Jordan Love.
Oh, so, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, now granted,
that's
and then Ian Rappaport reported it too. I mean, I just couldn't confirm it, so I didn't shoot out into the atmosphere. But
the only thing
that's a real thing.
The only thing I struggle with that, and you know this, Mona, is you say we're not going to make that trade unless our guy's there.
Our guy's there.
So that's what I mean. You don't make that trade before, and your guy's not there. You wait until you're on that clock. Well, our guy's there. Let's make the trade. So that's where I struggle with that story a little bit.
Yeah. And, you know, it's one of those tricky things. Like I love talking to you guys because you're so honest. And our listeners know that. Like, they know Jim and Doug. Like, you're not going to sit here and say, you know, oh, we loved Patrick Mahomes and, you know, Sean didn't want him. And no, like, you guys were so honest every step of the way with that. And that's why this podcast is such a joy. And, you know, as a reporter, like, we're trained to be skeptical of people like you and like and not believe what the hell you're telling us.
Yeah.
I find you guys very believable for everybody out there. But that's a great point. Like, who knows? Like, who knows how something like that goes down? But if they even were thinking about a quarterback, maybe before the days and weeks leading up to it, there's a different way to handle it. I think we're still sitting here. I still think Aaron Rodgers is upset and the Packers are in this predicament.
But that's that fine line. So let's say you're Seattle and you got Russell Wilson. All of a sudden he's chirping to the media, I need to be more involved. Well, how much more involved do you get him? Does that cross that line? And now he starts saying, beating his chest, well, you guys comes in the draft room and like, well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So that's that fine line, because you have a scouting department and guys that that's their livelihood. They would do what they do. And a guy that, granted, he plays quarterback, comes in and says, I don't want this guy, I want that guy, that guy. I mean, that's really, like I said, a slippery slope that it's a delicate balance.
I think the only thing that can make this story better, Rodgers doesn't show up and Blake Bortles beats out Jordan Love.
Oh, yes.
Start week because he knows the offense that Hackett.
Yeah, you guys had some battles with Bortles.
Well, we didn't have battles. I told Tyler the story. We went to that Bortles pro day, and we were kind of like just giving each other that side eye look, like, what is this? Like, it didn't look like it didn't look like a first round quarterback throwing the football
at his pro day. It didn't.
No, not at all.
Remember that? We were like, oh yeah, I don't know about this. It didn't look too good. Like,
not whatsoever.
But anyway, they just came out with that stat that Bortles has as many playoff wins as Rodgers does in the last, like, I forget.
Yeah, they'll both take you to the conference championship game. They'll get you
sure.
there.
With Monroe.
Tomato. Yeah.
What about that stat about Rodgers has as many first round receivers as Brady had as well?
Oh, don't get Tyler.
Don't get me going on.
Green Bay has done plenty. Green Bay has done plenty for Aaron Rodgers. Just like
again,
he's done plenty for them.
That's that low hanging fruit that all media. Well, they were 13-3 the last 2 years. So a receiver's going to be that much better? Nah,
it's a lot easier for people in the national media to kiss Aaron Rodgers' ass than it is to support Brian Gutekunst. It behooves you, if you're a talking head right now and you're on ESPN or NFL Network or Fox, whatever, your career is going to be in better shape if you're saying that Aaron Rodgers is absolutely right and the Packers are stupid. Like, because Aaron Rodgers listens and hears everything. Like, so, I mean, that's where I kind of feel bad for the Packers to an extent. They're not an organization that gives a shit about the narrative or messaging or any of that. They're not talking to anybody right now. Trust me, we're all trying. They're not trying, and they don't care. And Aaron Rodgers people, I'm sure, are trying. I mean, you see the surrogates out there: John Kuhn, James Jones, Devontae Adams. They're all out
the
there.
Surrogates, I love it.
He's got the surrogates. He's got the senior advisors in the media, that should be impartial but aren't. They're out doing his bidding.
No, it's like he's like placing.
Oh, it's a chess game.
You talk, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John Kuhn isn't saying that without Aaron Rodgers' blessing. I mean, otherwise you're not going to be around much longer.
Yep. But again, if this guy was a true competitor and an alpha dog, he'd have a press conference and say, to quell everything, this is the issue I have, instead of sending his surrogates out. It's just giving examples of what he's made of and what he's all about and what you're dealing with. And that makes me more on the Green Bay Packers side.
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, he's sensitive to the core.
And this is, I mean, we could go all day, but this is somebody who routinely rips the concept of anonymous sourcing. Trust me, I know. He did it to our story 2 years ago. I mean, there's a value to people speaking freely without their name attached to it. Like, there's a value to that. Look, I mean, there are players who want to explain what happened in Green Bay and don't want to be called quote unquote irrelevant by Aaron Rodgers as Jermichael Finley and Greg Jennings were. So there's a value, that's why we did that story. I mean, I talked to 40, 50 people. And here's Aaron Rodgers communicating solely as an anonymous. The irony is just, it's hilarious. It really is. Like, it would be great if he talked. It would be. I mean, he isn't. It'd be great.
Do as I say, not as I do. That's it. That's basically it.
Yeah. Although, Jake Kummerow, I will say this. He was upset about Jake Kummerow getting away. He did have one catch for 22 yards with the Bills.
That's what I was just going to say.
He did. And Jordy Nelson had an excellent season with the Raiders.
When they got rid of him. Right. They did the right thing. It was just like, honestly, though, those comparisons are like, I hate this touchy subject with Fred Jackson, like we've talked about before. But, like, we had to, I mean, that was hard. That was rough. But it was the right. It was a rough one. Shady McCoy and Carlos were better than Fred.
Right.
And take us through that, guys. Take us through that.
Yeah, I'll let Doug talk about it more. I've talked about it a little bit where we knew it was just one of those. It was hard, right? It was hard.
It was very hard because he epitomized what the Buffalo Bills were at that time. He was an unbelievable person, great in the community, great teammate, leader. Yeah. And everything. That's great, but are we here?
Our job is to put the best players out.
Yes. We're here to win. And he was not better than the other guys on the roster. And the reason and what we did, and I thought was a thing that was respectful of what he brought to not only the team, but the community, was we're not going to cut you on cut down day. We're going to cut you before so you get a chance to go and be able to latch onto a team, not with the mass cut and with the herd that's out there on that cut down date. So I personally thought we were doing them a favor. Now, it was obviously we got raked through the coals until Carlos took that touchdown. Everyone's like, who? Carlos.
Well, this is what people, okay, so yeah, the Fred thing was not great in the locker room. I tell people, I remember walking around that day. Doug and I were pretty much always together. I remember Kyle Williams, Aaron Williams. We were getting some bad looks. Yep. Understood. You even went up to those guys. I remember you going up to them saying, guys, this is the hard part of the business.
Yep.
But I know who wasn't upset was Terry Pagula when he saw Shady and Carlos Williams destroying teams. And Anthony Lynn was like, having a blast trying to design running plays with these two. So it goes both, like, that's what people don't, it is a hard thing, but we have jobs too.
Yeah. And then you go into the media where, I went rogue. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
wait
that
a
was-
minute. I'm just going to cut somebody without talking to, especially someone like Fred Jackson, not talking to the head coach or the owner and having them sign off on it. I was just, but that's where, and someone had said it a long time ago, don't get in a fight with someone that buys ink by the barrel. So it's whatever I said was not going to be able
Didn't
to
matter.
contradict the narrative that was out there. He had his people that had access to the media and be able to put that narrative out there that I went rogue. No one else was on board with it. Blah 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 blah.
Everybody was on board.
Now,
Should have had him on the podcast.
Everybody was on board. Oh, we
could I? Could I have done it in a better way? I don't know. It's still we were cutting him. I talked to him. I talked to his agent before it got out to the press, got out to everybody else. But again, how long did people really think about that after Carlos took that thing to the house? Like, as my dad always says, this too will pass.
I can remember that training camp. I mean, I was covering you guys.
Yeah.
And I remember, getting there early, and at St. John Fisher College, Fred would come out onto the field, and the people that were there went nuts. I mean, the chant of Freddie, Freddie. I mean, they were loud. It was roar. To have the balls to do what you guys did. I mean, not a lot of that's what we're talking about, being callous and making a tough decision. It's hard. It's really hard. I mean, he was beloved. Like he was the most beloved player on the team, and it wasn't even close.
The hard part is, as a front office or a coach, he is exactly what you want.
Yeah.
He is everything you want. Leader, professional, over the top, tough. I mean, you can't find guys like Fred Jackson. That's why he made it. But now talent.
Yes, and that's the whole thing. And I'll say it. And the thing I said to Coach, to Terry, I said, this is going to be hard because, like you said, he's the epitome of what you want in a player. But we have to get Buffalo to stop celebrating mediocrity. He's a mediocre player. Nothing against him personally, but business-wise, he's a mediocre player, running back, that can't get us to where we want to go. You know who can? Shady and Carlos Williams. They are talented players. Now, they're not the same people off the field as Fred Jackson, but we're talking about winning. And those guys will have a better chance of taking us to where we need to go. And we want to show the public and the fans of Buffalo that, you know what, you love Fred, and you should love him for a lot of reasons. But for his play on the field, you need to be exposed to people that are a lot more talented. So we did them a favor, in our opinion, to show them.
It's got like 10 minutes.
No.
Carlos Williams, I mean, could have been an perennial all-pro.
So here's
the talent that he had.
Oh, don't
was,
get us started. Right. That was just.
The thing they always say, though, there's more Carlos Williams walking around the street than there are Shady McCoys, because there's a bunch of talented people that just don't care. And it's always someone else's fault, and they always got an excuse. Remember, he gained weight because his girlfriend was pregnant. Like, wait, what? You're getting paid? So
I will say I put on a good 10 pounds since Gina's been pregnant.
You weren't an NFL running back.
You are, yeah. So
if you were getting paid to stay in shape, you still say, but if you were getting
it was a different sight, that OTA. When Carlos showed up,
you were like, hold on.
To his credit, like, he was pretty honest with us. He was like,
well, he couldn't hide it. You can't hide it.
I ate all off season.
But it just shows you, you're having a kid. You need to support the kid. Your job as a football player, stay in shape so you can give that kid a chance in life and support the kid. No, I'm just going to sit and eat bonbons with my pregnant girlfriend.
All right. Can I propose an idea?
Yes.
So, for those who don't know, Carlos had a few choice words.
Oh, yeah.
About our man Doug here. I believe. All right. If you're listening and you're under the age of 18, earmuffs. I believe he told you to eat a dick to my friend Matt Fairburn. Correct? For those words.
I didn't hear that. I heard he said I could drink rubbing alcohol or something.
Paint thinner.
Paint thinner, or
I
something
think it was
like that.
both. I think it might have been both.
Okay.
We got to get Matt on.
Yeah.
He interviewed
he's
Carlos.
got to tell me. So which is weird because he only was there as long as he was because I was fighting for him. He was the only he was the hardest cut
Anthony
I had,
Lynn,
and I fought.
Anthony Lynn basically was like, he's not going to do it, and we're like, can we just try?
Just try. I remember we were in St. John Fisher in one of those rooms, and we had the offensive staff, Terry Pagula, Rex, all of us in there, and they were like, "It's time to cut bait," and I was like, I know it is, but it's it's time to break up with that girlfriend, but you just want to hang on because she's the hottest girl you've had to date. You're just like, oh, come on, but she's hot. Come on, I'm not gonna get one that hot again. So I was hanging on, but I had to let it go. So for him to say that was, hey, whatever. That's how he feels.
Here's what I'm going to say. I want to play peacemaker here.
Okay.
I want to bring let's
play peace.
I have a pretty good relationship with Carlos Williams. We talked a lot that season, and we've kept in touch here and there via Twitter. I don't know what that means.
Story on Vince. You did a good story on
right.
Vince.
Oh yeah, his brother. I know Vince.
Yeah.
Well, he came on the happy hour. Great dude. Let's get. I think Carlos tweeted that he's going to come back to Buffalo. Maybe we bring him to Hamburg.
Let's do it.
And Doug, I mean, we can do it on Zoom. Hell, if you want to drive up to see Carlos, let's just all sit around,
I'll
drink some beers.
I'll be the
ambassador. But that's what
we'll
I
figure this out.
Why is he so upset with me? I mean, I'm not the one that ate myself and drank myself and smoked myself out of the league. It'd be different if he went somewhere else and had a bang up career. I don't know.
So I was just gonna say, how was I know we take our hits. How was Fred Jackson's career after we cut him? How was Carlos Williams after he did what he we made right moves. We didn't want to. I mean, there were some good moves being made. It's just, it goes back to the whole sensitive thing with Aaron. Guys are sensitive.
Yeah. Guys are. Yep.
Hey, so Doug, real quick, I know we gotta get you off here a couple minutes. Can we switch to game 1 of the NFL, Bills Steelers next year in Buffalo? The early spread came out, Bills -6.5 right off the bat.
Taking the Bills.
I already did. I'm so glad you just said that. I went right away and put it in. I'm not buying this running back from Alabama is going to save the Steelers' life.
Think about this though. For me,
not that he can't play because he's good.
Yeah. But for me, is their secondary. Think about
Bills
it. Joe Hayden,
light them up. Agreed.
Joe Hayden's on his way down. Lane, their number 3 corner, is going to probably be suspended. And then they got Sutton, that's been a number 2 of nickel. That's never been a number 2. And then guess what? If one of them gets hurt or they go 4 wide, where are you going? What are you doing? So then you add to the fact.
Don't forget about that statue they got playing quarterback.
Yes.
That McDermott that will not scare McDermott.
No, not whatsoever. So the only thing they can do is, like you said, try to run the ball and use and keep that ball away. But I'm not scared of that offensive line either, not whatsoever. And then the depth they have and this is long term about Buffalo. I mean about Pittsburgh. Their depth is so thin. They have any injuries in the secondary, outside linebacker, or offensive line, they're done. They are done.
Wow. I feel like we could talk for about 2 more hours.
Yeah,
this is incredible. I mean, Doug, you're the man.
Here, let me say, hey, if you guys give me 5 minutes, the only reason my wife went out for dinner, I just got to make sure my kid's in bed. I can come back and talk a little more.
Hey, you know what though? We can keep the people begging for more next episode too.
We'll do it for next time.
Support, Doug. You got a family. That was amazing. Let's keep it going and let us know, everybody, what you think. Rate us, review us, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get the podcasts. Any final thoughts, Doug? Any NBA thoughts?
Knicks will not.
He's a Knicks fan.
Playoffs.
Yeah, he's a Knicks fan.
I'm happy what they're doing. Won't win a playoff series, but very happy. I am very interested to see who's going to come out of the East. Very interested. I don't know. I'll say this much. I don't think it's Milwaukee. I don't think it's Milwaukee.
I'll tell you
Really?
this. I'll put it to you this way. If it's not Philly, if they don't win the East,
They're gonna choke.
then they need to blow that up,
Blow it up. Yep.
in my opinion, because there's no reason Philly shouldn't win the East with the Embiid's ridiculous. Like he's on, but I don't know if he's got that grit, like I want to win the title attitude.
That junkyard dog. Well, that was one of our things. No, not at all. So who's your bet out of the West?
Man, I mean, if the Lakers are kind of falling apart here.
I'm just gonna say this: if they're healthy, I'm sorry, I'm not going against those two. LeBron and AD though. Are you?
I don't know,
Lakers and Nets in the finals.
Love it. Please.
That's what Adam Silver's hoping for.
Give me a little Hornets Nuggets.
Next year. Next year. You know what the Brooklyn Nets are like to me? You know how like there'd be those summer leagues growing up and you would get 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like you never really played together, but man, if we just are, we can win it. They haven't even played together, but how
7 games, I think.
Yeah. How are they going to lose? I'm trying to go with people that have been together and done it. That Brooklyn team though, man, if those 3 are right, woo.
Hey, talent wins all the time. And especially in a sport like that, when sometimes one talented player can propel a team, you get 3 of them, that's tough.
Those are 3 unguardable guys. 3 unguardable.
And to bring it full circle, like, I think in Aaron Rodgers' mind, he's thinking he can do that. He's looking at Tom Brady in Tampa Bay and thinking, if I go somewhere, I can recruit guys. But it's a different game. It's a different league. Tampa Bay had an amazing defense.
You know what I would tell Aaron Rodgers if I was Gutekunst? Hey, Aaron, Mr. GOAT threw 3 picks in the second half, and we still lost.
Right. Exactly.
Who the hell throws 3 picks and a half and wins a game?
That's on you.
Come on, because you didn't capitalize on the turnovers.
Tyler, if he ends up doing this, I will come on this program and say, I tip my hat. That was the most gangster OG move I've seen a pro athlete do in almost ever. If he forces him way out of Green Bay, gets Devontae Adams somewhere with wherever he goes and goes to a team like Denver and then wins a Super Bowl, I'll be like, you know what? Joke's on me. I was wrong. Because that would be gangster.
To me,
and if he's that smart, that's him.
You know what, though? It's like, I feel like that's the only scenario here. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Green Bay can't let this toxicity linger into the season. Like, they can't let this problem, Aaron Rodgers is being the problem, they can't let it linger and linger and linger. Like, at some point, if you're an organization, if you're a business, you say, damn it, enough is enough. Like, see ya. Mm-hmm. There's the door. We'll take our picks and our players. I don't care how good you are. We can't let this virus spread through the organization.
Yeah. But I mean, if this was his grand scheme plan, hey, I'm tired of Green Bay. And like I said, Devontae may already put it in his ear. Devontae's like, I got to really reassess what's going on depending on his decision. And then he gets someone else and they start doing NBA type stuff. And in my opinion, I would hate it as a GM. But if you really think about it, that's how it should be. People go see players. They don't see teams now, especially now. It's not jerseys. It's the name on the back of the jersey. They follow players. And if players know they have control, because without an Aaron Rodgers, without a Tom Brady, what is the NFL? It's a CFL. So now they're getting, as they say, that word, which I hate to say, woke, and that they have power and can control stuff. Hats off to them. Good for them. You know?
Go to the
and
CFL,
if he pulls that off,
see how that works out. Really? Like, go.
Yeah.
Try.
But no, there'll be an NFL team that says, "Heck yeah, come on, we'll give him 5 first rounders because he'll play for 5, 6 more years. Who cares? You know." So, all right, fellas.
My dark horse team is Vegas.
Oh my God, John Gruden with Aaron Rodgers.
Carr, Rodgers, some first rounders, and
I'd
to get him. I thought you, yeah. But see, for me, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if I'd want to go to Vegas. That old school,
not because of Vegas, because of Gruden.
Gruden,
I've talked about it on there. That guy's he's a joke.
The game's passed him by. Look at his record ever since he won the Super Bowl. It's awful.
Go do your Hooters commercials and go crazy on Monday Night Football.
And that right there shows you the power of media over the game right now. He's a media personality that won a Super Bowl but has done nothing ever since then, became a media personality, and comes back as the highest paid coach in the NFL.
And brings on Mike Mayock.
Yes.
Another media personality.
But a media personality who never ran a draft. He never set a board.
And look at their drafts and their signings. They're atrocious.
We've talked about it. Trust me, we've talked.
Terrible. I mean, and I'm gonna have a story this week for those who want to check it out, and it's about a player that they gave up on. So it's as much about that player as it is about John Gruden and Mike Mayock being pretty terrible at their jobs. And it opened my eyes up. I mean, I had seen it over and over again. I'm on the outside. I can't imagine being on the inside where, I mean, they're just pissing in the wind. There are a couple of media guys just shooting from the hip. They don't know what they're doing. They really don't. I mean, it's a joke, but I guess they have a 10-year contract. And hey, Mike Mayock was on NFL Network, and he sounded decisive with
every time
with his mock draft. So give him a job as general manager.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. That ultimately goes back to the owner. I mean, if you look at the owner's haircut, you understand what's going on.
Just bick it, baby. Just shave that top.
Do it.
Just
do it.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Just go for it. Just take it off. You know?
We're not afraid. We're not
afraid. We better cut ourselves off at this point.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Dog, that was awesome. Thanks so much for
Take
everything.
care, fellas.
That was great.
And then I'll talk to you about Memorial Day. I'll let you know.
Just let us know, man. We'll do it. See ya.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thanks for listening, everybody. That was the Go Along podcast. Rate us, review us, let us know how we're doing. We appreciate you spreading the good word. We'll catch you next episode.